Toons are a bunch of monsters that Pegasus uses in the anime or manga, depending on which you watch. They can attack directly if your opponent doesn't have any Toon monsters, and they cannot attack during the turn they are summoned. And also, they only work if you have Toon World on your field, but that card is absolutely terrible. So we have a replacement for it in Toon Kingdom, which is a million times better, but we will get to that later. Let's go over the cards one by one. First is Toon Dark Magician. It is now available in the Trader, which is really nice. I'll not go through the effects that they all have in common. So it can attack the turn it's summoned, blah blah blah. And also, you can, once per turn, activate one of the following effects by discarding a Toon monster. You can special summon a Toon monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, or you add a Toon spell trap from your deck to your hand. It's a really good effect, and it is your main monster that you will always want to have on your field. Next is Toon BLS. It cannot be normal summoned or set, it must be special summoned from your hand by attributing Toon monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 8 or more. Or you can just cheat it out with Toon Dark Magician and just have it on your field, just like that. Or Toon Page Flip, or Toon Red Eyes Dragon. So we will basically never use the special summon effect. While you control Toon World and controls no Toon monsters, you can attack directly. And also, if you control Toon World, once per turn, you can target one card on the field and banish it, but this card cannot attack during the turn the effect is activated. This is your main removal. And we have Toon Barrel Dragon. This is our second removal. It is not reliable, but it works sometimes. It has a Toon effects. Once per turn, you can target a card on the field, you toss 3 coins. If 2 of them are heads, you destroy that card. Next is Toon Dark Magician Girl. This doesn't have the summon sickness. That means it could attack the turn it is special summoned. And this is our main way of OTKing. We can use this in combination with another card that we're playing in this deck. Allows us to basically deal 4,000 damage as soon as your turn starts. And that is really good. And you cannot normal summon this card, you must special summon it by attributing a monster. And yeah, you also gain 300 attack for every Dark Magician in either player's graveyard, which we will never get to use. We have Red Eyes Toon Dragon. Once per turn, you can special summon a Toon monster from your hand and ignore its summoning conditions. We're only playing one of each of BLS, Barrel Dragon, DMG, and Red Eyes because we don't really need them at multiple copies. We only want Toon Dark Magician as the main starter in our hand, and because we need different names in our deck for Toon Page Flip to summon. For back row, we have 1 copy of Terraforming to search Toon Kingdom, 2 Cosmic Cyclone as generic back row removal, Toon Kingdom. When this card is activated, you banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down. This card becomes Toon World while it is on the field zone. Your opponent cannot target your Toon monsters with effects. That's a really good effect. Protects your monsters from Reapers Disruption. If a Toon monster gets destroyed, you can banish a card from the top of your deck instead. Next is 2 copies of Toon Bookmark. You add a Toon World or a card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except for Toon Bookmark. If a Toon World gets destroyed, you can banish this card from graveyard instead. Really powerful searcher and protects your field spell from MST. We have 1 copy of Toon Table of Contents. Unfortunately, we can only obtain a single copy from the level up rewards. It adds any Toon card from your deck to your hand, and you can add Toon Bookmark, which adds another card, because some of the Toon support doesn't actually have Toon in their name. For example, Comic Hand. Comic Hand is a Toon support, it doesn't have Toon in its name, so Toon Table of Contents cannot search it, but you can use Table of Contents to search Toon Bookmark, which can search Comic Hand, but it doesn't really matter because we're not playing Comic Hand anyway, but it's nice to know. Toon Page Flip. If you control Toon World, you reveal 3 Toon monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one, and you special summon it, ignoring the summoning conditions, and then you shuffle the rest back to your deck. Usually, you're gonna pick 1 Toon Dark Magician plus any other 2 Toons that you don't have in your hand. With 1 copy of TOON Rollback, you can target a TOON monster you control, and can attack a second time in this turn. This is your main way of OTKing when you combo that with TOON Dark Magician Girl. It lets you attack 2 times for 2000 damage times 2, which is 4000, and that will be lethal. And finally, we have 2 copies of TOON Briefcase. I'm playing 2 copies because sometimes you might banish 1 copy by accident when you activate your field spell, so you can have a second one. When your opponent summons a monster while you control a 2 monster, you can just shuffle that monster back to the deck. Really good disruption, and it's searchable. For the extra deck we're playing, absolutely nothing. That's because of our skill. Our skill locks us from using anything other than tunes, basically. Here it is. Tunvitation. During the duel, you can normal summon a set of 2 monsters without tributing. That's a really good effect because a lot of our tunes are high level, so we can just normal summon them without tributing. You know, these are normal or special summon monsters that have 0 attack, monsters that your opponent is the original owner, or tune monsters during the entire duel. That's why we're not playing any extra deck monsters. Also, you can once per turn, twice per duel, return a card from your hand to your deck, and add a TOON world from outside your deck to your hand. So even if your opponent gets rid of your TOON Kingdom, you still have a backup plan. And for the expensive version, we're playing basically the same thing. And that's because, first of all, we can't really have an extra deck because the skill locks us from summoning anything from the extra deck anyway. And second of all, I don't own free copies of Bookmark. If you have free Bookmark, you should play free and then remove a briefcase, or maybe a Cosmic, or maybe Toon Barrel Dragon. But yeah, even if you have more expensive cards, the Toon deck will pretty much be the same other than 3 bookmarks and maybe a 3rd Cosmic Cyclone, because the entire deck is just so cheap anyway. So yeah, that's it. So let's go over the pros and cons. Obviously, tunes are very dependent on Toon World, and if your opponent has a way to get rid of it, you can't really do a whole lot. But the skill does help you mitigate this disadvantage by a bit, because even if your opponent gets rid of your TOON Kingdom, you still have 2 more opportunities to have TOON World, even though every time you activate it, you're losing 1000 life points, which is not very ideal. But you can attack directly, and that is really good. And even though this deck doesn't really have a lot of disruption other than exactly TOON Briefcase, this deck is really defensive, because if your opponent tries to attack your monster, they can't really be destroyed. You can protect it with TOON Kingdom. And during your own turn, when your opponent ends their turn, you can just attack with the 2 monsters that you already have on your field. And your monsters also cannot be targeted, which means Book of Moon, those kind of stuff, Compulse, Crackdown, all of them do absolutely nothing. IDP also doesn't really do a whole lot in this deck because we're playing so many different types of monsters. The only monsters that we were playing with the same type are Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. So we are pretty safe from basically most staple background that people usually play. The only big problem is exactly Cosmic Cyclone, because it gets rid of a field spell and bypasses the protection effect of TOON Bookmark, so that is a card that you might want to look out for. But if your opponent doesn't really have an out to TOON Kingdom, you pretty much just win the game. It's kind of like Time Lords, that you have a single face-up spell or trap that basically lets you win the game on its own. But I still think Time Lords are slightly better, because the Time Lords themselves also have really good effects. And even if your Infinite Light gets removed, you still have ways to win the game. But Toons basically get completely crippled when you remove the field spell. And even though you have replacements from the skill, you kind of still have to wait until your turn comes back, and then you have to return a card from your hand, so you're losing out on card advantage for a card that basically does nothing. So yeah, and also, Infinite Light is just immune to all destruction effects, and for Toon Kingdom, you need to draw TOON Bookmark or have TOON Bookmark in your graveyard to protect it from destruction. Otherwise, you can just your opponent can just pop it with something like an MST. And thirdly, this deck is a lot less good in the mirror match because the TOON monsters can only attack directly if your opponent does not control a TOON monster. Otherwise, they are forced to attack those TOON monsters before you can attack directly. So there's that. So yeah, that's basically it for the deck list. For our first game, we were playing against exactly what I just said, a mirror match, which is not ideal. Our opponent is playing TOONs, but they're going first, so maybe we could make something happen. Our opponent is going to activate TOON Kingdoms at 2 and pass. Wonderful. That means we can basically just attack without anything blocking us. We can just normal summon TOON Dark Magician, activate TOON Bookmark, grabbing TOON Page Flip, activating the TOON Page Flip to reveal the 3 TOONs that are still in our deck. We're gonna BLS and banish that field spell away. We're gonna summon a monster, we're gonna Barrel Dragon target that back row, we do not destroy it. We activate the invitation, and we end turn because we couldn't attack the turn we summon our monsters. But opponent doesn't have their field spell anymore, so they scoop. Yeah. Well, second game we're not facing against TOONs, thankfully. Our opponent's playing heroes, and we're going second. Let's see if we can pull off the OTK combo. We do have a copy of TOON Dark Magician Girl, so maybe we can do it. We will activate TOON Table of Contents to grab ourselves TOON Kingdom, so we can start playing. We're gonna TOON Kingdom, banish 3 cards from our deck, normal summon the TOON Dark Magician to grab ourselves a TOON Rollback for our OTK combo. We're gonna tribute our Dark Magician to make Dark Magician Girl. We're gonna activate Rollback. He's gonna banish our TOON Kingdom, and that's a problem because we can't attack directly if we don't have a TOON World, but that's fine. We have our skill, we can grab ourselves a TOON World. We can activate a TOON World by paying 1,000 life points, and we can just attack twice for exact lethal damage. For our next game, we are finally going first, and I have no idea what my opponent is playing, but that's okay. We do have Terraforming, which is wonderful. We could immediately grab ourselves our TOON Kingdom. We will activate TOON Kingdom, banishing 3 cards from our deck. Let's see what we banished. We banished the DMG, which is a bit unfortunate, but that should be fine because we're going first. So we're gonna TOON Page Flip. We get to summon TOON Barrel Dragon. We bookmark to grab Dark Magician, normal summon Dark Magician. Grab ourselves a TOON Briefcase as our disruption. Our opponent will activate Cosmic, banishing our briefcase. Okay, they're playing Infinitrack. That should be fine for us because Infinitracks only destroy cards, they don't banish or bounce back to the hand. And our monsters are protected from target effects, and our field spell is protected by the bookmark that we have in our graveyard. So we're feeling pretty confident with this. Our opponent is going to do the Infinitrack combo. I don't really know what they're doing. I have not played this deck before. I probably should. I have all the cards, but I just haven't got the time to experiment with what the deck could do. But I kind of know what the deck could do. I know that there is a, I think 1 card combo that lets them draw 2 cards, which is pretty nice. But yeah, they're gonna make their Earth Slicer, which is their form of monster or back row removal. But they should not be able to beat through our board, even with all the Xyz monsters that they're making. Their Mountain Smasher boosting his own monster's attack. We're gonna bookmark to protect our own field spell. Our field spell banishing a card from our deck to protect our monsters from being destroyed. And when they pass back to us, we are going to attempt to destroy his back row. All tails, okay. But it's fine, because we have target protection, and we just attack for a game. GG's.